people, the police in St. Anne are probing the death of a 1-year-old girl in Golden Grove district on Tuesday who was allegedly left in a tub of water by her stepfather. She has been identified as Alia Michael. The incident happened around 8:30 a.m. It is reported that the man left the toddler in the tub and she was subsequently found unresponsive. She was taken to the St. Anne's Bay Regional Hospital where she was pronounced dead. The Claremont police are investigating the matter. People, trouble dede. Trouble dede. Stepfather allegedly left baby in a tub of water. And when he returned, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, trouble dede. Trouble dede. In a normal, how could you, sir, how could you left one baby in a one tub of water? No, tell me, make me not understand. On sure say that happen? I wonder if that happen for you. Because me can't look on this good yeah. Me can't look on it good because how you gonna left one baby in a one tub of water, one bath of water, or anything you want left him in with water. Just so? Eh? One baby where if he sleep so, he can't just get up back by himself. So how you do that? For I mean I know you know. But trouble there. Trouble is there. The picnic not live no life yet. And just gone like that. I wonder if that happen for you. Me I wonder. But you will hear more if the story continues. If me hear more. Anyway, make we move on.
All right, so let's talk about the hard truth. Really hard truth. You see, while the world continues to profit off Jamaica's creative genius, our local creators are left behind fighting for scraps. Now, right now, as I speak, Jamaica is losing billions. Yes, billions, because we refuse to do what other well-thinking nations are doing by investing in a national creative infrastructure. And I'm going to get more into that. You see, our filmmakers, musicians, artists, content creators, photographers, they have the vision, they have the creativity, but what they don't have is the resources. What they don't have is a policy. What they don't have is a tax incentives. What they don't have is the removal of customs duties to buy their tools of trade. They don't have the sound systems, the high-tech studios, the post-production facilities. No. And so they leave. They go abroad to produce, record, and build careers in industries that should be thriving right here at home. Right? And so this is not just a creative issue. This is an economic crisis. And let me be clear, this is not a new conversation from me. I've been saying this for years. I've been writing about it for years in my columns. In my sectoral presentations, I get up on my 2 foot and I say it in public discourse. I've had fights with colleagues over it when I was Minister of Culture. I've been calling for investment, for strategic funding, for world-class infrastructure. Yet time and time again, we fail to act. And so we've had the studies, the feasibility reports over decades, the promises, you fling little money after the content creators. But what we haven't had is a bold vision to make it happen. So let's talk some numbers and just stay with me here. Because I know sometimes when you hear about billions, you think it's a lot of money. It's not. And I want content creators and creatives to understand that you need to start playing with big figures. Not some like a dibby pian figure. So last year, the Jamaican government allocated 3.2 billion Jamaican dollars. Quick math, that's about US 24.4 million for arts and culture. It sounds promising, but it's not, because here is what it really looks like. You see, 57% of that budget, that's about 11, round it up to 12 million, so really 11.6.5, goes to salaries and travel expenses. Only 2.5%, not even 3% of that money, and that's only $510,000 US, is actually invested in the kind of infrastructure that could make Jamaica a global creative powerhouse, to step onto the global stage. So while the world builds billion-dollar studios, Jamaica is barely funding the talent or the stage that could propel us forward economically and in a way that the world stop and say, but hold on a little bit. We did hear about that country, you know, and we are using them for years, but them coming now. You see, the kind of spineless financial thinking is more than frustrating. It's actually dangerous. And let's be clear, this is not a one-way street. Both PNP and GLP governments have looked at a creative industry budget and they have been rudderless and broken. Various ministries of finance. So money has been allocated from that ministry, but not in ways that foster long-term industry growth. What you do is you have these sporadic events just to make people feel nice. You throw some money at content creators and make them feel good. It's straight. The result of it too is you have thousands of young people, thousands of creatives that are brimming with potential, but shackled by underfunding, mismanagement, and political short-sightedness. Because this is one of the global competitive advantages that we have. And time after again, just look at 2022. There was an economic impact study that was done for the Jamaican film, animation, and you would want to say music industries. I think even CGI was thrown in there. And it found that our creative sector already contributes to about 5.2% of GDP and employs about 3% of the workforce because it has ripple effects. It's not just the man behind the camera. It's everybody else that benefits from it. And here's the reality. That number could double. It could even triple within a decade or 15 years if we invest in what actually matters. So let's put things into perspective, because I work in the global creative industry space and I've been in the local industry for 35 years, both in front of the camera and behind the camera. And let's look at a basic soundstage, right? Nothing really fancy, because you have companies and corporations now in the United States that have various sound stages around in the United States. So you could have one studio, but that same company owns several studios in a state, and they can be used. Like, you can go and look and you will understand what I mean. So it takes about $50 million US to build a basic sound stage. That's what it costs. Meanwhile, countries like the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and Mexico are pouring millions into creative industry and attracting international productions. And they're reaping the economic benefits. And Jamaica, we're watching the opportunity after opportunity slip away. Quite frankly, if you really know somebody in the industry, you can't even get a work or go up on the set. Because you have also a set of people that have been in it for years and they're not trying to pay it forward to the younger people, straight. So right now, the world's entertainment industry is worth about 2.8 trillion US dollars. That's a whole heap of money. Hollywood, Bollywood, Nollywood, they're all looking for fresh, visually striking, cost-effective locations to produce content. I had a live about this in 2022. You can scroll back and look at it. Because when Netflix decided to invest in Nollywood, in Lagos, in Nigeria, and even when they built the soundstage to make the Squid Games, I was asking myself, how the hell is Jamaica not at the table? How we not there? And you can look back at some of those things that I was saying about it, because Jamaica has everything the world wants. Breathtaking landscapes, world-class creative talent, and an internationally recognized cultural brand. Reggaeton built from Jamaica. Hip-hop built out of Jamaica. Right? You have stories. When you watch Cool Runnings, when you watch Shutters, people want content coming out of Jamaica. They do. We have some brilliant people down here. We're not talking about TikTok only, or some little not little, but the struggles they have to go through. But what they don't have is the infrastructure. I mean, not talk money, brother and sister. I'm not talking just some money. Because $250,000 are no money in Jamaican terms. It is not to produce something. It can't even buy two good camera and a MacBook. May I tell you that straight? What they need are solutions. So here's a solution. We need to build a world-class creative production hub, right? And me not talk a studio alone. Me talk about acres of land, a cutting-edge facility with a high-tech film studios, sound stages for blockbuster productions, state-of-the-art recording studios so that global music artists and our own can go there, music production suites for like CGI, animation, and editing, training centers to equip Jamaican filmmakers and cinematographers and sound engineers with the tools to dominate the industry. CPTC needs to be increased and move out into that area. And this is not a dream, it's a necessity. So here's how we fund it. Since everybody I try go around, come around and ship down. We need not government oversight. What we need is the government to clear the way for the private sector, for those people who want to invest internationally and locally. We need a public-private sector partnership because, to my mind, I've never seen the government manage a business effectively, right? They socialize losses and privatize profits. So here's what could probably work. Let's say we want to build that sound stage. Let's say the government puts a 40% stake in it, 24 million, through land, infrastructure, and tax incentives. And I would add to the tax incentives, but I'll get to that. Then you have private sector international investment with another 40%. So you have them putting another 24 million in there, and you could look at Netflix, Warner Brothers, Universal Music, Disney Studios. You could look at some of the younger brilliant producers coming up who have money. You could look at some of the private equity funds overseas that are investing in music catalogs, etc. And then you have the rest, 20%, raised by stock market funding. So about 12 million through like the Jamaica Stock Exchange, so that everyday Jamaicans can own a stake in their own creative future.